got behind 20 points at home, and that would frustrate any coach. But most importantly, it's not that they didn't play well. Jim Boeheim was mad about the effort. He was very upset. His team didn't come out of the gates ready, and the lack of rebounding has been a season-long concern.
So the Eagles in the away maroon, the orange and the home whites. It will be T.J. Bickerstaff to jump for BC against Jesse Edwards, as we are off and running on the 82nd meeting between BC and Syracuse. Eagles starting five: Jaden Zachary and Makai Ashton-Langford and DeMar Langford in their backcourt, with Bickerstaff and Prince Aligbe up front. BC averaging just 64 points per game. Bickerstaff in the post, and he puts one up and in. And T.J. Bickerstaff, any offense he adds is a bonus.
Well, you can see early what Earl Grant wants to do against his zone. He's going to try to attack the middle and see if they can bring Jesse Edwards up and then go back down to the baseline. That's exactly what they did.
Judah Mintz, Tim's focal point for Syracuse, and a steal by the Eagles. Here comes Makai Ashton-Langford, Mintz and Girard and Bell and Williams, part of that starting five. Aligbe shot is off the line. Jesse Edwards, a candidate for ACC Player of the Year. His first 13 games have been fantastic.
BC's trying to find themselves, and they were gritty in that win over Virginia Tech, and that's the key to them. They've got to be tough on the defensive end.
Punched away again by BC, their second turnover caused. Zachary, he throws it away. Is this indicative of a 10-day layoff for both teams?
Well, I think so, but it's more about just understanding how to attack the zone. And for Syracuse, they want to run, but the important part of running, obviously, the first thing I have to do is get the ball off the glass. That's been an issue.
No secret that BC has to slow down Mintz and Edwards. And there's our first foul of the game, called against the freshman Prince Aligbe out of Minneapolis. Aligbe had 16 and 9 in their opening game win against Cornell at County Forum in Chestnut Hill. A guy that has tremendous athleticism, a four-star recruit. They expect a lot out of him, but he has been injury-plagued. Girard on the baseline. Edwards keeps it alive, but taps it to Zachary.
Good job on Makai Ashton-Langford, and there's the transition.
Bickerstaff. And a foul on the orange. So T.J. Bickerstaff, a Drexel transfer, averaging more than 7 rebounds per game. Already a concerned Jim Boeheim.
Concerned mainly about their offense, but then they didn't get back after that missed shot. And Joe Girard took the ball down to the baseline, but when that happens, one of your guards drives down to the lane or the rim. You have to have rotations on the backside, and Syracuse did not.
Foul was on Bell. BC free throw shooting's been a problem the last couple of years. They're 67% from the line. Shooting overall, Tim, the Eagles need to get better. 41% from the field, 27% from beyond the arc.
And after watching a lot of film on BC and watching them all season long, I think they have better shooters than their numbers. And some nights it's just shot selection. Maybe the shots come too quickly.
And those numbers tell the story. Bleak for BC. Rebound by Aligbe after the Mintz. Here comes Ashton-Langford, the dribble drive. And Edwards corrals the board. Mintz in transition is bumped. Jesse Edwards, outstanding rebounding. His offense has gotten better as well.
That was a heck of an outlet pass, but even a better catch up in the crowd by Judah Mintz. And we'll try to break this tape down and what BC needs to do. The first thing they need to do, obviously, is stop Edwards, not let him dominate in the paint. But Joe Girard in the past has had very good numbers against the Eagles.
Yeah, he's shooting close to 60% in his last 4 games against BC. Syracuse has won 10 of 11 in the series, 8 straight. Last time BC won here was 2014 when Syracuse was ranked number 1. Pull up by Bell, and there goes your first orange basket of the day, which means the fans can take a seat.
Well, Chris Bell had to work to get that, and Syracuse right now is looking a little uncomfortable against this BC defense. The BC is getting right up into Syracuse's chest. They're going to have to get more ball movement.
Jaden Zachary penetrates and kicks it to Aligbe. Out of bounds, remains BC ball with 10 to shoot. I thought it was telling, Tim, after the Pitt game when Jim Boeheim questioned the forwards' effort. He said that was a first in program history. He said they didn't play well. It was the lack of effort which was glaring.
Well, when you break the tapes down with Bell and Benny Williams and company, certainly Jesse Edwards cleans up the glass, but he needs help in the back. And the guards aren't exempt either. Even when they're smallish, they need to get in there from the top of the zone and rebound from the deep guard spot.
How'd you beat the 2-3 zone?
Well, you've got to be patient. BC is being patient, but Syracuse is doing a good job of closing out angles and not allowing second shots.
Good possession defensively for the Orange. Chris Bell, moments ago, their first bucket. Bickerstaff guarding Jesse Edwards. Pass in the post for Edwards. And the rebound by Aligbe. High percentage shot.
Edwards one-handed on the tip. Probably should have went up with two.
Teddy Valentine on the call, part of this officiating crew. Foul on Langford.
Good job by Judah Mintz. He just got back and got a legal guarding position. And right now, Syracuse, see if they can get a little bit more ball movement, player movement, because the BC defense has been really good early.
Joe Girard has that type of range. Girard 39th in the Syracuse scoring list, over 1,300 career points. Langford in the post, good pass. Langford, the beneficiary.
That's how you have to beat it, Meter. I mean, they're not going to come down and beat you with threes. BC is not an elite enough shooting team to do that. So they've got to probe the defense, get the defense moving, and then get to the foul line and try to go baseline after it goes into the middle.
Girard with his first bucket of the day. Joe Girard, 15.2 points, second on the team, shooting 40%, 36% from three. And a kickball. And that will bring us to our first media timeout. So a defensive ball game, the first 4.5 minutes from the Dome. Syracuse band not here due to the break for the holidays. It's out of Baldwinsville, New York. He's Tim Welsh. I'm John Mita Perrell, producer Kristen Hennessy, an outstanding crew. Happy New Year, everybody, as the Eagles and the Orange locked in a defensive battle and a feeling out process.
Well, both teams are playing good defense, and sometimes that happens early, and both teams have to figure out what the defense will give them. And with BC, they've been very patient. You can see their lack of shooting, not a lot of confidence in taking outside shots, and there's Langford one, uncontested.
That's what BC needs to do, Tim. It's no secret against this zone. You've seen it so many times, former assistant coach under Jim Boeheim. You know exactly how teams are successful against it. You hit the three. Joe Girard off the line. The rebound scooped up by Langford over to his brother Makai. Bickerstaff in transition, so a 5-0 run for BC out of the media timeout.
So this is one of the things that Jim Boeheim was perturbed about in the Pitt game, just that giving up way too easy looks, whether it's from the perimeter by Makai Ashton-Langford on the last possession or just an over-the-top, easy transition bucket with no resistance.
BC has made its last 3 shots. The defense on the Orange. With Brown throwing it away. Here comes Makai Ashton-Langford, the Providence transfer. The dish to TJ Bickerstaff. Opportunity on a leak out for Judah Mintz. And that was too easy in transition.
Off the turnover, the little bump. BC's defense was not organized getting back. Both teams giving up some easy buckets.
Number 55 in white, Munir Hema is in the ball game for Jim Boeheim. Transfer from Duquesne. He's to the bench now, but how about this opportunity?
Well, as Judah Mintz grows into his role as a college point guard, he's now understanding when he can kind of leak out a little bit, and that's what Jim Boeheim has really emphasized. The forwards getting into rebound more, and then they can get out in transition.
Mintz from Fort Washington, Maryland, originally committed to Pitt. Top 50 recruit for the Orange. And he's 13th in the ACC in scoring. Close to 16 per ball game. Cross court, Bickerstaff to Zachary. Evan McLaughlin checks in and he hits, and McLaughlin has been instrumental in BC's 7 wins.
Well, McLaughlin was really good against Virginia Tech, coming in off the bench, and he's not going to be a scorer, but he's going to find ways to get the ball up on the rim. He'll defend bigs. Right now you see him on the defensive end guarding the 6'11" Edwards.
McLaughlin, coming Georgia redshirt freshman, fade away by Girard.
Nothing has been easy for Syracuse in the half court so far. And BC gets it right at the rim again.
And they go on the post to McLaughlin off the dribble drive. Paint touch is essential for BC. Earl Grant told us that before the game. And Syracuse is shooting just 27% with McLaughlin going to the line. And here's our Wednesday college basketball doubleheader on the ACC network and the ESPN app. You don't want to miss Duke and NC State at 7 Eastern. Then it's off to the Dean Smith Center. Armando Bacot and number 25 North Carolina hosting Tyree Appleby and Wake Forest. Should be 2 outstanding matchups.
Well, North Carolina finally got back into the rankings after a few weeks of being out of the rankings while starting the year at number 1. And then league play will be always a challenge. They went on the road yesterday and lost to Pittsburgh.
Maybe that type of year, the topsy-turvy ACC. Clemson off to a terrific start, 3-0. Jesse Edwards. That's a dicey matchup. McLaughlin against Edwards.
Well, McLaughlin did some pretty good work early. He's not allowing Edwards that low post position that he likes, but he just shot right over the top. He's got such a long advantage, 6'11" versus 6'7".
First 2 of the game for the 7-footer from Amsterdam. Quint Post also from the Netherlands, as we expect to see him later on for BC. Swarming defense in the 2-3 zone, and that's Jim Boeheim's recipe.
Well, you got the length, but you also need to use the length. You get down in the stance, get their arms up and hands up for deflections, and that time Syracuse did a good job because BC's doing a nice job of cutting through the defense on the backside.
Eagles averaging 12 turnovers per game. That was the 2nd turnover thus far for DeMar Langford. Quadir Copeland to Symir Torrance, who's a Syracuse native. Marquette transfer. A lob for Edwards. Putback attempt by a Jock, but Edwards comes up with it. He is industrious in the post. And a foul on BC. It's on DeMar Langford. That will take us to another timeout. BC trying to win for the first time at the Dome. Jesse Edwards, 15 points, 11 rebounds, and how about those numbers? Incremental offensive improvement from his freshman to his senior year.
Well, you've seen it. He came here kind of a raw, young, big guy, trying to find his way, figure out how the American game, how physical you need to be in the American game, and he's really just jumped every year. And last year with the injury, as soon as he went out, Syracuse hopes kind of flamed out because they were playing much better down the stretch. And I think he has to become more selfish as an offensive player because he can be really dominant in the paint.
He went out with a wrist injury against BC in February last year, and after that, the Orange lost 5 of 7.
Well, he's a presence, not only offensively, but in the middle of that zone, he is really big.
A Jock, the high post pass to Joe Girard, and that's what they're looking for.
John Jock is a terrific passer, and when he steps out on the perimeter, Syracuse gets good movement. He will find the open man.
Eagles with 12 in maroon. Quentin Post, his first game action of the season after suffering a foot injury, and in transition, it's a foul on BC.
Well, I like Quadir Copeland. He has tremendous confidence. If you watch him in practice, I mean, he's very vocal, even telling some of the veterans what to do out there on the floor. And I think that's really his grittiness and confidence is what Syracuse needs. And that on the defensive end, he just went and poked the ball out and then got to the rim.
Thank you there, Mr. Post.
And BC will go to the bench again with Chaz Cully. He's a freshman point from Houston. Now the Eagles suffered a loss with Donald Hand going down. early in the season with a torn ACL, and he was a top 100 recruit. They expected a lot out of him. He was going to be the backup point. Now it's Chaz Kelly, Hand, the son of former Virginia star Donald Hand. So Kelly's got more minutes.
Well, they need some production off the bench, but their starters are the guys that have to do it for them. Makai Ashton-Langford, they've been solid so far, but you see they're doing what they do best. They're trying to just attack and get in the lane. They're not forcing the three-point shot.
BC hasn't scored in the last 2.5 minutes, 7 to shoot. And you think Post can diversify their offense?
Well, he's, as we said before, he's a solid three-point shooter, but he can do that. He can get to the rim with a big body, catch it, and finish.
31 games last year, 11 starts, 9.5 points, and 5+ rebounds.
That's just a mental error defensively. You got to make sure you put a body on him. That was way too easy.
Joe Girard, the triple. First 3 of the game for Syracuse.
Well, Girard, the last 2 possessions, did a much better job moving without the ball into an open area. He can't be stationary. If they know where he is, they're going to be in his chest. Moving without the ball is key.
Girard, the pride of Glens Falls, New York, prolific high school scorer, New York State leader in that department. With a deep 3 by Girard. He can shoot from anywhere.
Well, they're trying to set a little pin down screen at the top. He does a pretty good job of moving without the ball. He uses Jesse Edwards at the top. And this is a nice basketball, good offense by the Cuse.
He averaged 50 points per game his junior and senior years in high school. I thought I was reading Tim Welsh's high school resume.
He set all the records in Glens Falls. You could be the mayor of Glens Falls, that's for sure.
And a beautiful pass by Girard to a cutting Symir Torrance. So Syracuse has some momentum.
Well, it's a good job by Girard. The last 2 possessions we talked about, moving without the ball that time, identifying, playing with his head up, not looking for his own shot, looking for the open man.
Orange have made their last 3 shots. And the Eagles counter.
Well, that mid-post area, BC is trying to get into that gap off the ball, attack it with the pass. That's where Syracuse guards, they have to drop down off Zachary because he's not really a three-point threat.
The guy that just made the hoop is going to be an essential ingredient if BC has success this year. Mason Madsen, a transfer from Cincinnati. They need his 3-game to pick up. That's what they brought him to BC for. And a turnover by Syracuse.
Copeland just trying to go a little bit too fast. He probably should have just taken that jumper. He was wide open on the driving kick. Instead, he just dribbled into trouble.
Copeland to the bench for Jim Boeheim. So Syracuse, moments ago, they had their first lead. It lasted just 10 seconds.
Well, I like Copeland's energy, though. Jim Boeheim most likely will go back to him. He gave him some good fire defensively in the back of that zone.
Zachary was BC's best three-point shooter last year. He's only shooting 29% this year. His post, in the post. Wild shot as he was blanketed by Jesse Edwards.
Good job by Edwards. He just built that wall. Post had to shoot over the top of Edwards.
Girard tries to draw the foul. Instead, he'll take the 3. And he gets hot. Look out. He loves to face Boston College.
Well, he started to take the foul in the corner, and they didn't call it. So he understood. He was trying to just get his balance back. He's doing a really good job of playing with and without the ball so far.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Girard in his last 4 games against the Eagles, 60%. There's C.J. Pena, transfer from Division II.
Good look inside by Post. This Pena couldn't finish amongst the traffic.
Girard leading all scorers with 10. Now he swings it to Justin Taylor. And they want to reset. So Syracuse, shooting well in the last 5 minutes, grabs a 2-point lead.
The Orange going by not just shooting the ball, but moving without the basketball, creating, coming off those pin down screens, ready to catch and shoot, lock and roll, but also playing with his head up, playing with balance, looking to involve his teammates. And he has been a nightmare for BC over the years, and he is starting to feel it.
He certainly is. And Syracuse 9 for 40 in their first 2 ACC games, and their 1-1 start from 3. That's very un-Syracuse-like.
Right, and I think, you know, they don't have an array of great shooters. Everyone in the building knows that Joe Girard is the guy that's going to take it from deep. But Chris Bell's a guy that needs to get open as well because he can knock down shots from the perimeter. And Judah Mintz is an improved outside shooter.
Girard with the ball again, hounded by Jaden Zachary. Now we have a foul on Zachary, says Pat Potter. And before the break, there was a shot clock reset. Now it is at 20 as Mintz will inbound.
Well, Girard lost the ball and then just kind of tumbled over Zachary. That could have been a play on because Syracuse did not lose the possession. But BC is very feisty defensively. They're getting up into Syracuse on the perimeter. They're going to make them beat them to the rim.
Girard gets in the lane. And out of bounds off of the orange.
Checking in for the Eagles, number 5, Langford Jr.
Every Sunday afternoon, we have women's basketball on ACC Network and the ESPN app. New Year's Day, the game started at noon Eastern. Next week, we're featuring these two. Louisville hosting Pittsburgh at 2. And the matchup of the day between number 5 Notre Dame and number 13 North Carolina. Sunday afternoons are for women's basketball on ACCN. The outlet to Edwards and the pin by Prince Aligbe, but it's the goaltend on the freshman from Minneapolis.
Good effort by Prince Aligbe by that. I'm not sure that ball was going down. It would have been better served just letting it come off. But Jesse Edwards, again, getting out in transition, really looking good up and down the floor.
Largest lead for the Orange. Langford. Bickerstaff has it punched away. Syracuse looks like they've solved the BC offense.
Well, they have. They're taking away that middle cut from the weak side. They're closing the gap very quickly.
Mintz wild but effective. Judah Mintz and then one. Outstanding body control by the freshman.
Well, Judah Mintz is starting to learn by playing and getting a lot of experience. And here you see, just keeps the dribble off balance, but still squared up to the rack.
Kelly is back in for the Eagles, replacing Jaden Zachary with Mintz at the line. They haven't had a guy with what Judah Mintz brings for a long time. I talked to Pete Moore, their associate athletic director for sports information. He told me maybe Johnny Flynn, but that type of player.
He is, and you know, and the thing you like about Judah Mintz when you watch him play is that constantly growing. He works before and after practice with Jerry McNamara, and one of these guys that you can work with on being a great guard, better than Jerry McNamara.
Jerry McNamara, statistics from 3, staggering. Top 3-point shooter in Syracuse history. An illegal screen thrown by John Bol Ajak.
Well, that's a mistake by Ajak. He didn't establish himself and get set on the screen. According to Teddy Valentine, Jim Boeheim doesn't agree with that. But what they're doing is they're moving without the ball. They're trying to set a lot of screens for their guards on the perimeter, which is a good sign for Syracuse.
And the Eagles' scoreless drought telling against this 2-3 zone. BC has had problems with droughts first 2 years under Earl Grant. Trying to snap an 8-0 scoreless run, and a foul after the shot by DeMar Langford. Well, on Jesse Edwards.
Excuse me, Meter. I like John Bolajak in the back with Edwards. First of all, defensively, he gives you just another big, long athlete in the back that can close the gap on the inside, and that's what DC's trying to do. They're trying to flash someone from the weak side right into that ACC spot, right below the foul line, and see if they can draw the middleman up and then go down to the baseline. But Ajak can cover the rim if Edwards steps out to the foul line.
Langford had 8 points in their win against Virginia Tech on December 21st, an overtime win. Mike Young told us before that game he was concerned that BC would muck the game up, and and they create a grinding, contact-laden affair, and that's what they did.
Well, they're starting to develop an identity, and that's what Earl Grant told us earlier, is that this is what we have to do. We have to have our defense, but it has to travel.
Edwards trying to back it on Bickerstaff. Jazz Kelly with the board. Here comes Ashton-Langford.
Defense by Bickerstaff, just building a wall.
From the elbow, Makai Ashton-Langford. So BC with a slight burst to cut it to 3.
Well, Makai Ashton-Langford's only made 6 threes on the season, and at 19%. So you got to get back. He's got to get back, take away his right hand, lay off him a little bit, force him left, but give him the perimeter shot.
Girard against DeMar Langford. Mintz gets doubled, and that creates a problem. Here comes TJ Bickerstaff. Aligbe looks like he didn't expect the pass. What happened?
He forced it in there. He wasn't open. That's the thing. You know, just because you're running in transition, everybody's not open. BC would have been better served maybe to kick it back out to the perimeter or take it off the bounce to the rim. But on that last play down the other end, it's too tight in the middle. Mintz tried to drive the ball into the gap. Jim Boeheim's going to talk to him about it.
Symir Torrance. Girard will take a 3. Quick post back in for BC.
Good D by BC on the perimeter, really forcing a tough shot by Girard.
3 by Ashton-Langford. Brings some rain to Syracuse.
Well, he said he's only made 6 on the year, but he's made 2 this afternoon already. So Jim Boeheim's going to discuss, and you know, when a guy starts making 3s against you, you must adjust your defense.
And with the Eagles on a 7-0 run in the last 93 seconds, we'll take a timeout.
Fans, keep up with the latest news on Syracuse men's basketball by following them on Instagram and Twitter at @Cuse_MBB. Let's go out to the court for our Skinny Analyst Jewelry Shootout. Our contestant today is Todd. He's going to have...
This year, Seth Greenberg, our colleague, had him on his team of the week after they beat Virginia Tech. He's off to a good start.
Well, he was the key coming into the game. He talked to Earl Grant. He talked about all the younger players that he has that haven't been in this moment, road game in the Carrier Dome, excuse me, in the Dome here on campus. But he's important because he's a veteran. He's played on the road in the ACC, and he's not going to force the issue, and he's looked good from the perimeter so far this afternoon.
Out of the timeout, where's the focus for Syracuse?
I think you got to go inside to Jesse Edwards, see if Quentin Post is going to be ready to defend after being out so long. They're battling inside, but they've got to give him a little bit more space on the interior.
Torrance throwing drive, but missed the layup. And Aligbe corrals it with a jump ball.
Good job by Torrance, hanging in there. He's going to come out of the game, kind of a forced shot, but fought his way back into the play.
So Judah Mintz back in for the Orange. And some teaching moments for Jim Boeheim and Symir Torrance. Edwards with the left hand and contact from Quentin Post.
Post did a pretty good job of drop stepping, covering the angle to the rim, but Jesse Edwards, when he has room and space, is really dangerous. Most of the time they post him up with his back to the basket, but Syracuse has been talking about moving him outside a little bit more and having him catch the ball on the move going to the rim.
17 foul on BC. Edwards, such a presence on both ends of the floor. One of the top shot blockers Syracuse has ever had. His numbers in December, showed to you earlier, but he has 15 blocks in his last 3 games, 31 rebounds his last 3 games. As a former coach, Tim, that's a luxury.
Well, he covers a lot of ground on the inside, obviously because of his length, but he's got really good feet. He's quick. He's quick like a small forward out there on the floor. And obviously, very important in the middle of the zone, but has become a really improved offensive player.
He's one of those under-the-radar guys for ACC Player of the Year candidacy. Ashton-Langford for 3. Edwards has trouble with it, but keeps it alive for Mintz.
Good job, Syracuse going inside out to defend on the perimeter.
You've been impressed with the Eagles' defense.
I have. They've been gritty. In every possession, it's been tough for Syracuse to get anything going.
Benny Williams, not much run in the first half as he missed the bunny. And a foul on Justin Taylor, who had an explosive game against Bryant. They were upset by Bryant, but he had 26 points, and he was recruited by North Carolina. And you know, he's a guy that you like and Jim Boeheim likes, but a little bit slow to develop.
Well, he's got to get more confidence on the offensive end. It's just sometimes typical as a freshman, trying to adjust, feel like where your role is, especially coming in off the bench.
Aligbe at the line, Mason Matson. Cincinnati transfer needs to increase his output from beyond the arc.
Well, there's no doubt. That's how you beat the zone. You get the zone to shrink. You go inside, then get your shooters to slide into open areas on the outside. But BC right now just doesn't have enough confident, consistent shooters.
Joe Girard, did he hit that from Skinny Atlas?
It was from the eye in Jim Boeheim court. That was downtown. Armory Square.
Throw it all in there. And a double dribble against the Eagles, but Girard has 13.
Yeah, we watched Joe Girard in practice yesterday, and the heels on the logo, and he's doing a nice job. He and Edwards are doing a good job playing a little two-man game at the top with good spacing on the wing.
8 points off the 8 turnovers for Syracuse. Evan McLaughlin tries to defend Edwards, and the putback by Benny Williams. He is athletic.
Well, the message has been delivered from Jim Boeheim to rebound, rebound, rebound. Both Benny Williams and Chris Bell, and Williams showing some life on the backboards.
Well, it's +5 in the rebound department for the Orange over BC, 17-12. Williams has been inconsistent. Aligbe in the post is double, but a foul. Is that questionable on Benny Williams?
Very questionable. Looked like he went straight up, built the wall, but Matt Potter said Williams. I think the foul's on Edwards. He looked like he got into the shoulder.
They did get Edwards. That was his second.
That's a good call by Matt Potter. It's not easy when you're 1 against 20,000 as far as the judgment on your calls. You're up against it, as they would say. Good crew today, though.
It is. Monir Hema replaces Edwards. Hema transferred by way of Duquesne. He's given them some bouncy minutes. He'll give them a presence in the post. He's not going to score much, but his defense can help.
Yeah, he can block shots, and he can close the gap in the middle. And Syracuse is doing a much better job today than they did against Pittsburgh of just not only closing out the middle, but getting back out to the perimeter and then one and done on the backboards.
Williams flashes now for Mintz at the elbow. McLaughlin engulfs the board. And the drive is good by Makai Ashton-Langford.
Langford is experienced. He saw the C's part, the two guards at the top, Girard and Mintz, both kind of looked at him. He split the difference, got to the rim.
His 7th game in double figures. He has 10. Williams, foul line extended. Boy, if he can hit that shot, it adds another dynamic to the offense.
Well, again, moving without the ball and better spacing for Syracuse here in the last 10 minutes.
Zachary backdoor and a block. Reach side block by Hema on McLaughlin.
That's why they brought Hema here from Duquesne. He's a good insurance policy when Edwards gets into foul trouble.
Williams. Benny Williams, a one-man wrecking crew in the last 3 minutes.
Well, from the doghouse to the penthouse. Start rebounding a little bit, then the shots flow. The head coach won't take you out, and all is good.
And he's brought them off their feet at the JMA Wireless Dome. And Tim Welsh, defense to offense, effective.
Well, very long on the backside of the defense, closing out quickly at the rim. The resistance by Hema, ever important. And then Mintz doing a good job saving the ball, and nobody picks up Benny Williams. And just like playing in the backyard, nobody contesting, knocking it down.
Williams, 8 points and 4 rebounds, shooting from 3. That was his 6th 3 of the season in 16 attempts. BC will hold for the final shot. Ashton-Langford almost from the logo. Matson on the board, blocked by Hema. Oh, the Orange feeding off defensive energy to end the first half.
Looking good, getting the fast break going, off the misses, cleaning up the backboard, sharing the basketball, making open shots, and getting into a better flow.
Ashton-Langford with 10, but BC trailing by 9. Our halftime show coming up.
Syracuse football had a nice season.
Boston College possession to start the second
finished it off in the bowl game in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Coming off a loss to Minnesota, but in the Pinstripe Bowl. Orange finished the year 7-6, but that was a lot of fun to watch the baby racing as the crowd entertained at the JMA Wireless Dome. BC back at it to start the second half. Prince Aligbe with an easy 2 and a good pass by TJ Bickerstaff.
Well, Boston College very well schooled in what they want to do against the zone. They're trying to reverse the ball. They've got good spacing. They're sending a cutter in from the weak side wing, trying to get into the middle, then go basic.
Eagles shot 40% in the first half, 29% from 3, and a pickoff by Bickerstaff, but then he throws the ball away as Benny Williams plays safety.
Benny Williams played well the last 3 minutes of the first half. Energy on the backboards and aggressive offensively.
Fade away by Judah Mintz. And impressive defense by Ashton-Langford. Headman's a pass to Bickerstaff, and it's fouled. Teddy Valentine, rather, calls the foul. Valentine, part of the officiating crew with Brent Hampton and Matt Potter.
Ashton-Langford, after retrieving that loose ball in the corner, just doing a nice job of pushing it with his head up, looking over the top to Bickerstaff. Bickerstaff is under control, but got knocked off balance.
Second foul on the Oranges, Chris Bell. Aligbe well off the line.
And that's the problem BC has against this zone. No one has that ability to make shots under duress.
Edwards to Mintz. Oh, that was special.
Well, Syracuse getting much better movement on the offensive end, and that's why they want to step out Jesse Edwards a little bit. He is a very capable passer from the perimeter.
Edwards leading all rebounders with 8 in the first half. Averaging 15 and 11 throughout the month of December. Syracuse has won 5 of 6. Coming off a loss to Pitt, and with 5 to shoot. Aligbe is fouled. Good look for Prince Aligbe, who played high school ball with Chet Holmgren and Jalen Suggs in Minneapolis.
Pretty good duo there. Minneapolis is kind of a great spot over the years for BC to recruit, and going back to Troy Bell and company. And that time Jesse Edwards got caught off balance. He just needs to present himself big and long. He doesn't need to go in to Aligbe. That time, Aligbe did a good job of forcing the issue.
3 fouls, Tim, on Jesse Edwards. What does he have to do now?
He's got to just be careful. He's got to know where he is on the court. You know, his size alone is presenting big problems for BC. He doesn't have to overextend himself in the paint.
And the board by Benny Williams.
Benny Williams says, I got to get that's a freebie rebound that I can put in the stat column. Coach's good graces, but defensively, Syracuse has been solid all afternoon.
Girard. Man, he loves to see the BC uniform.
Well, you know, he's doing well. They're taking away the 3. They're locking and trailing. They're getting on his hip. They're taking that outside shot away, so he's doing a good job reading the defense, coming off those screens, and curling to the rim.
Leads all scorers with 15. Largest lead of the game for the Orange. No-look pass by Aligbe. That's a shot that Zachary needs to hit. And an offensive foul. Ashton-Langford draws it from Judah Mintz, who ran into him.
That's the second one of these that Syracuse has got called on by Teddy Valentine. And here, even on a dribble handoff, when you hand off to your teammate on the offensive end, you must establish yourself and not run into the defender. Good call.
Girard is ready to launch again from 30 feet. He's playing the 2 this year. It was the 1 last year. He moves off the ball for Mintz. Zachary amongst the trees. And Bickerstaff scoops it up. And then one opportunity for the Drexel transfer. That's the 4th foul on Jesse Edwards.
Well, this is a mistake by Jesse Edwards. I thought he fouled on one of the first rebounds. He's getting himself involved in this play. And instinctively, yes, that's okay, but it's not good, smart basketball. With 17 minutes to go, the 2 points, you can have them. The foul is trouble.
BC had 4 shots on that possession.
You just got to give up the bucket. If you get yourself caught in an area where you think you're going to foul somebody or guy's going to get up on the rim, you just got to back away at this point because he's too important for Syracuse to be out of the game now for a long time.
Now they have to go to Munir Hima, who's not going to give you much offense. He is a defensive presence. Williams and Aligbe the board. Here comes DeMar Langford. Langford from Worcester, Mass. Bickerstaff out of a double team. Aligbe with a left hand.
That's a nice cut from the top by Aligbe. BC again, been very impressed with their scheme against the zone, not forcing it from the outside. A lot of movement, not only with the ball, but without the ball. Cutters from the weak side into that mid-foul line area, just below the foul line, right by the ACC logo.
I like the full court pickup by Zachary as Mintz takes advantage of him.
You gotta be careful though. Mintz can really break you down off the dribble. If he sees any opening, he's tough to guard in the open court.
And an empty possession after the bucket by Mintz. Poor shot by Ashton-Langford. Girard the 3, and he's got contact. That will be 3 foul shots. Prince Aligbe on the foul. Second on Aligbe. First on the team, and a pensive Earl Grant here in that BC locker room at halftime. Where are you going?
He's just got to find a way to get some points. And every time down the floor, it's just been a struggle. They're running good stuff. They've been patient, but they just have not been able to deliver when they've been open, which has not been often, but they've had some decent open looks just inside the 3.
Girard is money from the foul line. Second best free throw shooter in Syracuse history behind assistant coach Jerry McNamara. He's 86% this year, and he's 86% for his career.
Well, he's doing a much better job as he's grown as a college basketball player of not just being a catch-and-shoot guy. He's adjusted well to playing the 2 this year, playing along with Judah Mintz, and not only moving without the ball, but creating his own shot off the bounce.
Well, we just jinxed him. 2 out of 3. Aligbe in the post. And blocked. Great weak side defense by Benny Williams.
Benny Williams has really ignited Syracuse this afternoon.
Chris Bell with the air ball. Aligbe dives for it. 50-50 opportunity and a win for BC. Ashton-Langford spinning. Contact, but no layup. Bickerstaff has it punched away. Ball team in attendance at the JMA Wireless Dome as they get set for their game tomorrow night against NC State. And the man in the lime green is Chris Joseph, Syracuse forward, 2nd-round pick of the Celtics, and number 27 on their all-time scoring list.
Gone to the dark side. He's become a coach. Chris will do a great job. I always have a good feel for the game. And the Syracuse women, Felicia Leggett-Jack is the new coach this year, and if you haven't noticed, her numbers up in the rafters, and was a terrific player here and a really good coach at Buffalo and getting the program going. I believe they're 10-3 on the season. They were practicing yesterday here at the Dome before the men, and she's just a wonderful hire by John Wildhack. Just a no-brainer, very beloved in the community, grew up in Syracuse, was a great player here, and we'll get the program back on track.
Prince Aligbe at the line misses the first after the foul was on Monir Hema. Syracuse, for the moment, playing without Jesse Edwards, who's foul played with 4. 1 out of 2 for Prince Aligbe.
So Jesse Edwards being on the bench with the 4 fouls is not a huge issue on defense. They do drop off probably with the rebounding wise, but Hema can protect the rim defensively, but more importantly, offensively, where Syracuse gets their shots in the paint.
Judah Mintz to the bucket.
But that's Benny Williams again. Benny Williams doing a good job moving without the ball and then not forcing the issue. That time, Mintz, rim cut, no one protected the basket.
Well, Benny Williams supposedly needs to work on his basketball IQ. They say he needs to become more comfortable with game situations. He's working through that as a sophomore, but certainly doing all the little things today, isn't he?
Well, he is. And, the youth out there is just jumps right out. You see Copeland out there on the floor, Mintz. They're just young players. And Williams needs to grow into his role and play with confidence. He seems to be doing a better job of that this afternoon.
Aligbe drains his 8th point of the second half as he's bolstering BC. Eagles trailed by 9 at halftime. Aligbe with a career and season high 16 in their opening game win against Cornell, and he grabs the loose ball.
Girard just forced the issue, and Noble runs back.
TJ Bickerstaff converting the easy 2.
That's just unacceptable. Syracuse not doing a good job after the turnover, just kind of half-pace jogging back. Joe Girard's got to protect the back. Even though he's at the top of the zone, he's the first man back. He can't let anyone behind him.
Bickerstaff in double figures with 10. Girard got DeMar Langford off his feet. Copeland gets tied up. And a jump ball, says Teddy Valentine.
Jim Boeheim obviously saw what we did with Girard Copeland in the first half, giving Syracuse a lot of energy off the bench, some good gritty toughness on the backboards and on playing that wing position in the zone.
What's the adjustment like for a freshman coming into a Jim Boeheim program? You used to be on his bench.
Well, you've got to gain his confidence. That's the first thing, and you got to be consistent and play tough. What a pass there!
Girard missed a 3 in post. In for the first time in the second half, coming off a right foot injury. First game action of the season. Backdoor Ashton-Langford. Devin McLaughlin at the elbow found the cutting Langford, and BC's riding high. As the Eagles, some momentum under their second-year coach, Earl Grant. They trail by 3.
Back into this game, gritty defense, but also moving the ball around. We said in the first half, Makai Ashton-Langford needed help, and Prince Aligbe has given them help. And Syracuse at times has not got back and get their zone set. And Jim Boeheim in this possession was pleading with his team to get back and get the zone set, because that's the way BC is going to get back into this game, by getting out in transition and finding some easy buckets.
And Prince Aligbe has been extremely effective in the second half of those 9 points. He was only 2 for 8 from the field against Virginia Tech in their win 10 days ago. 9 for 27 from the field in his last 4, but he gives them some extra juice. And since Jesse Edwards went out at the 14:06 mark, BC has a 13-6 run going. Edwards went out with his 4th foul. And we got a 10-second violation against the Orange. What happened there?
Just lack of awareness on the offensive end by Girard and Mintz and company. I mean, somebody's got to tell your teammate that the clock is running. You should know that, but sometimes you're just dribbling it up like it was a Sunday afternoon, and the sense of urgency needs to get upticked for the Cuse.
Backdoor Zachary to McLaughlin, and a foul on the post, says Pat Potter.
So what BC is doing to attack this zone meter is similar to what they wanted to do in the first half. Is they're going to set up in a 1-3-1 type set, and then they throw the ball to the wing, and then the opposite wing flashes into the middle of the floor, and that forward slides down to the baseline, and they try to get the center to come up to play the middle and throw it down to the baseline before the forwards can recover at the rim.
McLaughlin at the line, redshirt freshman, 18 points against Virginia Tech. And a 1-point Syracuse lead. They led by as many as 10.
That time, good awareness by Joe Girard just to go get the ball and bring it up against this pressure to beat the clock at the timeline.
St. John's face guarded Joe Girard earlier this season, and that gave Girard problems. You think other teams will do that? Mintz to the lane.
St. John's has Posh Alexander. He's one of the best on-ball defenders in all of college basketball. I mean, if you have one of those, yes. If not, Joe Girard's doing a good job of getting open. And there, they don't get back in the contest on the perimeter.
BC a 12-0 run to take a 2-point lead. The feisty Eagles have turned up the pressure on both ends of the floor. Denny Williams with the answer. Boy, has he been outstanding for Syracuse.
Well, he's shooting when he's open. He's locked in right now. He's doing a good job of moving without the ball. That time, BC did not identify him as a trailer with potential to knock in a shot, but he wants the ball and is playing with a lot of confidence.
That's 10 points for Williams and a steal by Girard. And a tie-up jump ball. So the 3 balls effective for both squads.
Well, things are heating up here, Meter, in the Dome. Little good offense. BC starting to feel it from not only in transition, but from the perimeter.
And then the points off turnovers, a telling story.
BC much more comfortable in the second half against the zone. And of course, Jesse Edwards not being out on the floor. He covers so much space. So good on the backboards, but also an offensive threat.
And also that bottom line of the game summary, plus 12 for the Eagles since Jesse Edwards' 4th foul. And he remains out for Jim Boeheim with Manuel Hima in the front court. Mintz, crafty move, but the board by McLaughlin.
Syracuse has to be aware now. Quentin Post is back in the game, and we're going to look to go into him with Hima guarding him one-on-one down on the baseline.
And you love what Earl Grant has done today.
I think they're very well prepared. They're staying with their scheme. They're staying with it. They're not forcing the issue against the zone.
Madsen gets blocked by Hima. A block party in Syracuse. Zachary to the rack and the 2. Jaden Zachary led BC in scoring last year. It's been slow to come this season, but he capitalized.
Zachary doing a good job. He just splits the gap between the forward and the guard, and no one steps up. You can't let the ball get that deep in the lane to the rim, to the weak side of the rim against the zone.
Another second half lead change.
So that's where the 5-man Heman's got to step up and meet the ball outside the paint or just as it approaches the paint. And the weak side forward can protect the middle, but everyone kind of stood and waited, and Zachary attacked.
Syracuse held the lead for more than 16 minutes. BC for more than 10.5 minutes. Justin Taylor, and he nails the 3.
I think Taylor needs to be more aggressive offensively. Of course, he's just trying to step into his role coming in off the bench, but he can do that, knock down shots.
He hasn't scored more than 6 points in his last 7 games after scoring 26 against Bryant. Ashton-Langford, the dribble drive from McLaughlin. And taken away by Zachary. And down the lane, rejected again. Triggering the break from Mintz.
Well, that started with the backside forward, Williams and Hima both protecting the rim, and they've got BC out of sorts.
Makai Ashton-Langford throws the ball away. That last bucket was out of the Stevie Thompson playbook.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Judah Mintz has done a good job reading the play, and he understands when the defense steps up and protects the backboard and the rim, he can leak out over the top.
How many lobs did you see when you were on the Syracuse bench?
Endless.
Or coaching against the Orange. Williams. Benny Williams. He has had himself a ball game on New Year's Eve.
Well, he's not standing around and watching the play, which he tends to do at times. He's playing with a lot of confidence, moving without the ball, and really ready on the catch just to attack with his head up with balance.
And a tie-up in the post. Teddy Valentine says a foul on the orange. That's the third on Munir Hema. So the big men for Jim Boeheim, Edwards has 4, Hema has 3.
Well, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the big men here in the last 9:19 because BC is staying true to their game plan. They're going inside, inside, inside. And Syracuse is going to give them the outside shot, but they have struggled to take away dribble penetration in this second half.
Williams, 17 for 34 field goals his last 4 games entering this one. He's held to just 1 against Pitt in 13 minutes, but he has responded in a big-time fashion as post connects to cut the orange lead to 4.
Jim Boeheim a little very happy over on the sidelines as the fouls are 8-1, but BC has done a really good job of drawing those fouls right in the lane, attacking the rim.
And they're managing the minutes of Quinton Post coming off the right foot injury, his first game action. How difficult is that for Earl Grant?
Well, I think between Earl Grant and the player, you've got to lay that out before the game starts. And listen, give you some minutes, get you back into the flow, but not overdo it.
A 3 by Taylor. He looks confident, doesn't he?
Well, all their young players have improved, and that's going to happen with such a good coaching staff. They spend a lot of extra time on individual work, and you can see what Taylor, his confidence is today. It's big.
Zachary too strong with a 3 attempt. Syracuse has made its last 5 shots, and they are 50% from distance. They've made 7 out of 14 threes. Girard from Ithaca. Out of bounds. I had to give you an Ithaca reference.
Oh, good job to step back. It's more like Glens Falls for Joe Girard, but doing a really good job of creating some space off the bounce, taking his time. But again, Benny Williams kept that play alive on the backside.
Taylor and Williams instrumental in Syracuse's recent charge. A runner by Mintz. Here comes Ashton-Langford. Good hustle on the glass by Bickerstaff. Lob to Aligbe. Bickerstaff blocked. But that counts as a goaltend.
Sure, that shot had a chance to go in, but good aggressive play again on the offensive end. BC had numbers which created that offensive opportunity. Yeah, that ball had no chance to go in. That was not a goaltend.
But it goes down as 2 for TJ Bickerstaff, who has 12, one of 3 Eagles in double figures. Crossover by Justin Taylor. Good defense by Bickerstaff. Smothered him.
He got pinned at the rim, but he just protected. He got good defensive position.
And Aligbe is called for a travel.
Well, Benny Williams is having a coming-out party. Hardly played as a freshman, inconsistent as a sophomore, but openings, and he's done all of that this afternoon.
All right, inside the huddle during that timeout for both teams, as you look at Williams' numbers, BC, where are they going?
BC's got to pay a little bit more attention to Benny Williams now because they're trying to go to him in the low box, and they've got Hema on the outside. They're trying to isolate Williams on the inside while still, don't forget, you must pay attention to Girard.
A rare misfire by Williams. Good look. Defensively, the 2-3 zone in the second half. What do you make of it?
Well, that's been good, but Teddy Valentine just got Hema. I believe that's his 4th.
It is his 4th. Yep.
Boeheim has the 3 centers. John Bolajak, they like to play him more on the forward spot in the zone, but they may be forced to go to a Jock in the middle if Hema does foul out.
Yeah, Bolajak has not played in the second half, with Bickerstaff missing the opportunity. Eagles have missed 6 foul shots, 19 attempts, and an and one for Judah Mintz. He is tenacious in the lane.
Well, if he feels like he's got any sort of space from the top of the key to the rim, and they're just kind of a little ghost screen, doesn't use it, but uses that right hand, a little in and out dribble. He's so quick, he can get by you in a second.
He's got that gear that Syracuse hasn't seen in a long time. You mentioned Johnny Flynn comparison in the first half as he completes the three-point play. Flynn was stronger, but Mintz is faster.
Well, Mintz is so good off the bounce, and you don't have to play him from the outside. You got to respect him, but you lay off him, he still has that ability to keep his dribble and get to the rim.
Long distance, Makai Ashton-Langford. Zachary the board. As he goes down. Possession Syracuse on the held ball. Good hustle on both sides.
Well, good job. Syracuse was fortunate, though, because Mintz and Girard started to leak out, and then the deep rebound came right into that area where the guards have to step in the 2-3 zone and help rebound, but Mintz with the extra effort on the floor.
In your game summary, part of your focal points coming in this one, BC 3 percentage, 33%, Syracuse 47%.
Well, and BC continues to run good offense, trying to go inside, but at some point when you kick the ball back out and you open, you have to try to knock in a few to keep this zone honest.
Eagles from 3, 27% on the season. Williams rolling towards the hoop. And Brent Hampton calls a foul on BC. That's on Prince Aligbe. Third on Aligbe. Just the third on the team. So BC's done a nice job not fouling in the second half.
They're doing a very good job. And Benny Williams, though, the switch has been flipped on. He wants the ball. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now offensively.
He's had some flummoxing moments throughout this year. Coaching staff trying to figure out what the formula is to get him on the same page.
Well, I think both teams talked about their layoff and what it meant to them. And everybody has a layoff at Christmas, and you expect to get better. But both these teams are young in a lot of spots. That's really important for the young players who improve during the break.
Girard nails the three. Open look, and he will capitalize 9 times out of 10.
Well, that's footwork 101. Great job just dragging the defender down low and then pushing off that inside foot coming off that little pin down screen on the baseline out.
Langford and the slam for Aligbe. He was quiet, but now he's back on. Prince Aligbe with 11 in the second half.
BC will not be denied. They're going to hang in this game. They are gritty. They are a gritty basketball team. They're not pretty against the zone, but they are efficient, and they're on the same page.
That's the mantra from Earl Grant. Gritty, not pretty. Williams, the misfire. Batted away by Taylor. Talk about gritty defense. Girard. And the putback by Benny Williams. Industrious Benny Williams. Here comes Makai Ashton-Langford. He can't convert on the one-man fast break. Kima is doubled and fouled.
That was a nice pass by Girard, but this is the way Syracuse wants to play on the offensive end. But again, it has to start. They've had such major problems, aside from Jesse Edwards, finding any consistency on the backboards defensively. But today, Benny Williams has given them that second rebounder, and he was coming out of the game now. He has giving them a huge lift while Edwards has been in foul trouble.
Yeah, Hema to the bench for Edwards coming back in with under 5 to play in regulation. 4 fouls for Jesse Edwards. Girard. And the rebound for Quentin Post. Girard has 20 to lead all scorers, so that's 55 points in the last 3 games. Joe Girard against BC, dating back to last year. Post. And And he's got it. He averaged 9 points last year.
Good job by Earl Grant and BC to go right at Jesse Edwards to see what type of resistance he would present inside with the 4 fouls. And Post stayed with it. Edwards had to back off.
Syracuse has always had a counterpunch.
They have. They're getting production from guys they don't normally get it from, including this man right there who has just been really good.
And he's got contact from Prince Aligbe.
That's
fourth on Aligbe.
Very good coaching job by Jim Boeheim, though, to understand. And we're going to go through Benny Williams until they can find a way to stop him. And they're posting him up there, isolating him with space down low. They're going through him, and he is delivered.
Syracuse 7 of 9 from the line. Benny Williams, his first trip of the afternoon. There's the foul trouble for BC. So that's 15 for Williams, 2 shy of his career high, which he set against Colgate in their second game of the season.
You know, Justin Taylor's had some really good moments this afternoon. Kadir Copeland gave him some good energy. Jim Boeheim's gone deep into his bench, which he's starting to trust these young players as they are improving during the season.
Largest lead of the game for Syracuse. Led by 9 at halftime. Post to DeMar Langford, who's been quiet. That was nice. DeMar Langford got some elevation on his shot.
He did. They stayed with the play on the weak side. They tried to go into post. He couldn't shoot over the top of Edwards, but BC hanging around with some gritty defense.
The Eagles at 7-6 trail by. Terrific.
You know, he doesn't force the issue. At times, he may take a shot off balance or too early in the clock, but as he's grown through the years, he's really feels more comfortable offensively. He knows he has the green light. He's playing the 2-guard spot. They've done a really good job of finding him coming off those little pin-down screens at the top. And also their baseline out-of-bounds plays have been really efficient with Girard coming off weak side screens.
And the Orange are 3-0, and he scores more than 20 points. And here he is off the inbounds. Play the 1 instead of Mintz.
Yeah, Mintz, they totally denied Mintz. Syracuse sent him deep, and Joe Girard did a good job recognizing he needed to help bust the pressure.
Girard gets doubled, but still converts. Tells you about his strength, doesn't it?
That's a big improvement from when he was young. He didn't ever want to do that, but now he is going amongst the trees with toughness and finishing.
Quentin Post got boxed in at the sideline, and he needs to take a timeout. So Earl Grant will have to reset for BC as they trail by 10. It's remaining for both squads. John DePerel and Tim Welsh, our producer Kristen Hennessy. An outstanding crew. We hope you've enjoyed it thus far on the ACC network. Benny Williams and the Orange. If they hold on, they'll be celebrating the New Year's on a winning note. It will be their 6th win in 7 games.
Well, when you watch Syracuse play, you understand they are an unselfish basketball team. And today they've caused problems down at this end of the court. Efficient defense. They've moved on the pass and not on the catch. And done a good job protecting the rim and rebound. Jim Boeheim is telling Judah Mintz there's no reason to go out there and extend and chase guys that aren't real good three-point shooters. Just pack it in and make sure we rebound. So Earl Grant's going to extend the defense. There's no doubt about it. You know, he's going to say we need some easy shots for BC. And that can happen if we create some turnovers or some pressure or some quick shots by Syracuse. But Syracuse, you're going to see them. They're going to get the ball over half court, and then they're going to take a lot of time off the shot clock before they attack.
Well, Jim Boeheim, after their loss to Pitt 10 days ago, they lost by 2, so they're having trouble handling the press. They're not a good pressing team. But it's been a different story today. His front court has given him a lot of contributions. Mintz flustered by Quinton Post. Tony Valentine calls a foul. It's on TJ Bickerstaff. First on Bickerstaff.
Well, Syracuse, you can see they're taking a little bit of the air out of the ball with the 8-point lead, but you can see they're still looking. They're still probing and waiting for the defense to make a mistake. And that time, Girard, so intelligent, got into the gap, drew that second defender, got it, pitched it right over the top to Edwards.
Edwards quiet due to foul trouble. 4 fouls and 7 points.
Joe Girard, the veteran he is. Jesse Edwards said, nice pass. Joe Girard said, don't foul.
Langford, not what they were looking for.
No, but it was under duress. And they've had a lot of those opportunities today, but the length of Syracuse has bothered them in the lane.
Eagles shooting 41%, 46% for the Orange. And an offensive foul on Joe Girard. Much to the chagrin of the Hall of Famer.
Well, this looked like a foul, but sometimes when you're an experienced defender, you make it look like a foul.
20,000 officials at the JMA Wireless Dome voicing concern. And the block. Benny Williams dictating plays on both ends of the floor.
Well, Judah Mintz has to come out and help Joe Girard a little bit at the top here, and he's going to take some time off the clock. Maybe they can get Girard now coming through the defense on a little pin-down screen or a pick and roll with Mintz and Williams.
Orange have 7 blocks, 1 shy of their season average per game. As they kill some shot clock. Mintz, oh, the runner. Judah Mintz. Terrific body control.
Well, sometimes you can take the air out of the ball too soon, but not if you have a good, sound, smart offensive team. Syracuse is playing very smart here in the last part of this game.
And the largest lead of the game at 12.
Well, Ashton-Langford is all up in Girard. You cannot put your hands on the dribble. This is how Ashton-Langford picked up that offensive foul in the previous couple possessions ago against Girard.
Williams to the post for Edwards. Just how Jim Boeheim drew it up.
This is a clinic on how to run late game offense with a lead. They're not standing around. They're waiting until BC overextends, and then they take advantage.
And the Eagles dribbling into traffic. Extremely problematic against the 2-3 zone. So Syracuse is going to win this one and beat BC for the 9th consecutive time.
Well, Syracuse did a lot of good things on the offensive end this afternoon and shared the basketball, had good balance in scoring. Of course, Benny Williams' production has been a bonus and something they needed and been looking for, not only offensively but defensively. He's been a presence and been good on the backboards. And for BC, they had a really good game plan. I was very impressed with their scheme against the zone. But without a real long forward to finish plays in the lane, you have to have somebody to keep the zone honest on the outside. On the outside, making some threes. BC doesn't have it.
And there's some concern amongst the Orange faithful that Syracuse might have another uneven year. They were 16-17 last year, the only year under 500 for Jim Boeheim. But it seems like, Tim, is that just something that they shouldn't be worried about?
I think what you've seen so far this year is not who they are, because they have such a young team. So they have a tremendous potential to get better. And this is our 3rd trip up here this year to see them play. They're getting better.
And that's evident by the performance as they held on in the second half despite some gritty play from BC. Jim Boeheim greeting the BC coaching staff as he picks up career victory 1,007.
Good effort by Syracuse coming off the game against Pittsburgh before the break, where Jim Boeheim was very frustrated with effort, rebounding, all the things you need to win in the ACC. Today they got it.
They did it well. A 14-point win for Syracuse as they improved to 9-5.